My name is Steve Hunt. I'm a licensed insurance agent in the state of Connecticut. My license number is 997612. Now that open enrollment is finished for the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, I thought I'd take a little time to discuss what this really means for people. Being as President Obama asked us to talk about this over the holidays, I thought it might be a good idea to put in the form of a fairy tale. So this is the story of Hansel and Gretel and Jack and Jill, two self-employed couples living up in the rolling hills of Litchfield. Both are self-employed, running small businesses, Jack and Jill fetching water, and Hansel and Gretel making candy. Both pay for their own health care, both have major medical policies, and both are reasonably happy. Jack and Jill are paying around $700 a month. Hansel and Gretel are paying around $1,000 a month due to the fact that they might have eaten a little bit of their candy and maybe, got a slight rating on their policy. Both get a cancellation letter telling them that they can no longer keep their insurance and must reapply for the new Affordable Care Act plans. So Hansel and Gretel go first to the website and figure, let's see what's in it for us. So they go to the site, input their county Litchfield, their age 62, wife's age 62, and then they input their income, $62,000. They hit next. They hit next. And they get this nice little silver plan for $484 a month. Not bad. They're pretty happy. What the heck? Less than $500 a month. They were paying $1,000. This is a pretty good deal. So they go back and tell Jack and Jill. Now Jack and Jill figure, well, if they're getting it for $500 a month and they're a little overweight, their cholesterol's a little high and so forth, we'll get a better deal. So they go to the website and they input their data. Litchfield County, 62, 62. Look at last year's taxes and discover that they made $63,000. So they punch in 63, they hit next. And they say, wait a minute, the lowest possible cost plan is over $1,000 a month for a $12,600 deductible? That doesn't seem right. Hansel and Gretel got a copay plan for less than $500 a month. So they go to the metal level and say, maybe we should select the same silver plan. And they discover, wait a minute, now it's more. $1,476 a month for the same plan from the same carrier for the same couple in the same county, but separated by $1,000 a year in income. This hardly seems fair, but what are you going to do? So Jack and Jill figure, well, we'll take the bronze plan and we'll pay the $1,000 a month because we really can't afford to do anything else. And what the heck? We don't really need insurance anyway. Of course, famous last words, what do you know? Jack falls down and breaks his crown. And to make matters worse, Jill comes tumbling after. And they both get rushed to the emergency room and they have to have CAT scans and MRIs and all kinds of different things. And their bills come to $5,000 apiece, which they have to pay entirely out of pocket because they haven't yet gotten to their $12,600 deductible. Now, the combination of their $12,000 of insurance premium and their $10,000 of medical bills comes to over a third of their income, and they're worried about bankruptcy. Meanwhile, Hansel and Gretel, having visited the emergency room only a week before, are laughing at them because they only had to pay $150 for their visit as a copay. But you know, it's a fairy tale, and a fairy tale should have a happy ending and a morality tale. So they both discover something that neither had planned on. You see, when they go to file their taxes in 2015, remember this is a tax credit advanced to you for the year of 2014, they both realize something that very few people do. To get to $62,000, Hansel and Gretel had earned $74,000, deducting $1,000 per month or $12,000, and equaled $62,000. Now they're only deducting $5,000, and they wind up at $69,000. $69,000 is too high, and they disqualify themselves from the credit that they've been advanced and now have to repay all of that money that was given to them to the tune of over $1,000 a month. Jack and Jill, on the other hand, to get to 63, had been deducting $8,400. That's $700 a month. Meaning that now that they're deducting $1,000 a month, they wind up with 58 and subsequently qualify for the credit that was refused them. They then get the $12,000 that was originally given to Hansel and Gretel. Of course, next year, they'll get disqualified and Hansel and Gretel will qualify. And then the year after that, it'll flip-flop again. So for the next 3 years, they go through their lives flip-flopping between affordability and unaffordability. Now, watching all of this with great interest was a shadowy fellow known only as the Man. Now, the Man lives in Greenwich, in Fairfield County. And having cashed out of Wall Street a few years back, conveniently right before the crash, he's been enjoying his life, living very comfortably in his $5 million house, with his $2 million boat. His toughest decision being whether or not to drive the Ferrari or the Lamborghini on that beautiful day. Unfortunately for the Man, he also gets a termination letter and has to go out and buy insurance like everyone else. So he goes to the website and puts his age 62, his wife's age 62. Then he starts looking and saying, well, what's my income? Now the Man has $10 million in municipal bonds and $3 million in IRAs, $2 million in cold cash sitting in the bank. But of course, municipal bonds are tax-free. IRAs are tax-deferred. Can't tax his house, can't tax his car, can't tax his boats. All he's got is interest on his $2 million. Today's virtually zero interest rates, the 1/2 of 1% on $2 million, comes to $10,000. So he correctly inputs his adjusted gross income of $10,000 and discovers that he qualifies for Medicaid. That's right, a guy with $20 million of assets qualifies for Medicaid because it's strictly based on his income. Of course, the Man doesn't want Medicaid because his doctor doesn't take it. So he says, I know, I'll take a disbursement from my IRA of $12,000, giving him $22,000. Now this is perfectly legal. He's over 59. He takes his money out. He pays his taxes and makes his income $22,000 for that year. He hits next, and the state's like, oh my gosh, what do we do with this guy? He lives in Fairfield County. He only makes $22,000 a year. We should give him $1,828.66 per month in tax credits and give him cost-sharing assistance to help eliminate those pesky deductibles and things that people don't like to pay. Meaning that he pays nothing, zero, for a zero deductible and a $5 copay. Pretty good. But you know, the Man didn't get where he was at by just letting somebody pay for his insurance. He's a bit of a risk taker. So he decides he will take the Bronze Plan. So he can take and apply his tax credit to the Bronze Plan, still giving him a zero premium. But then he can voluntarily lower his tax credit all the way down to $1,350 or $1,340, meaning he's still a zero premium, but now the government owes him the difference between $1,828 and $1,340, or approximately $6,000 as a tax refund for the privilege of buying his free insurance. Not too bad, the Man thinks. So he sets his personal assistant to the task of actually doing the data input, goes out on his deck, and watches the sun set over the harbor, thinking to himself, isn't America a wonderful country? Well, I hope you've enjoyed our presentation of the Obamacare Fairytale. Feel free to log on to www.accesshealthct.com and check these numbers for yourself. Thank you and have a great day.